making jerk salmon, shrimp, coconut rice, and garlic string beans. I'll list all of the ingredients in the description bar, so sit back and enjoy. But here you see me I'm seasoning up my salmon. This is a piece of frozen salmon. Then I'm just going to add a few shrimp. You can use as much shrimp as you want. I just use just enough for me and my son. And I'm going to season it with the two seasonings, which are jerk seasoning and fish seasoning. Both I bought at ShopRite. The fish seasoning is salty and the jerk seasoning is just really spicy. So you want to be careful if you're not too big on spice. Now we're just going to pat the seasonings down into the fish because the jerk seasoning is really flaky, so you want to get that in there. Now we're going to get started on our rice. Now this coconut rice cooks really quickly and it's different from cooking regular white rice. This will give you more creaminess. Here I'm going to add just about a tablespoon of canola oil, about a tablespoon of garlic. It's minced garlic. You can use less if you'd like. And now we're just going to add some chopped onion, and we're going to let that all saute down just for about a minute or so. Next to this, we're going to add some thyme. We're going to mix it all together. And we want that to cook until it's about fragrant. You don't want your garlic to burn, so keep the flame pretty low. Just going to mix that all in. The onion will break down, so you don't have to cook it until it's caramelized. Now we're going to add our washed rice. This is regular white rice. I rinsed it about 4 or 5 times in cold water. And here I'm just adding it to the pan, trying to get as much of the water out of it. Now we want this to toast lightly. Just keep it stirring to mix all of those ingredients in with the garlic, the oil, and the onion. Now we're going to add about a quarter tablespoon, or teaspoon, I'm sorry, of ground allspice and mix that in very well. Allspice is completely optional. I just like it. Now we're going to add our red beans. Those are canned Goya beans. What I did was I just opened it, rinsed them, and drained them, and then I added them to the pot. And you want that to be mixed completely with the rice. Now we're going to add about 2 cups of coconut milk. This is what's going to give it that extremely creamy consistency. If you don't want creamy rice, I would suggest using just water or chicken broth. And then we're going to add 2 cups of chicken broth. That was about 2 cups of rice. So you figure for rice is usually a 2 to 1. So we got 4 cups of liquid there. Now we're going to start on our salmon. I usually use canola oil spray or olive oil spray, whatever I have on hand. You can use regular olive oil, it's up to you. And we want to just give this a nice sear. Now this has skin on the back. I do not like it. So after this is flipped, I'll be taking the skin off and then I'll season it again. That's just a pot of the string beans and I had already seasoned it. It's nothing special. You can cook your vegetables however you choose to. That's just how I'm doing it. With that rice, you want to keep it stirring. You want to try to get this to a boil. It's on about medium high. You want to get that to a boil, but you want to keep it moving. That coconut milk will evaporate really quickly. And we want to do our best not to allow the salmon to stick. This is my favorite non-stick pan, but because the skin is so sticky, it seems to always stick anyway. Keep your fish moist. You can drizzle olive oil. You can continue using a cooking spray. It's up to you, but you want to keep it moist. And I use the lid to keep all of the steam inside too, and it'll help it cook on the inside. Some people like their fish like almost medium rare. We want our fish well done over here, so I use the lid to let that steam circulate throughout the pot. Now you don't have to do all of this. I have a bit of arthritis in my wrist, so I need a little bit of help to flip food sometimes. And as you can see what I mean, that skin, I'm slowly taking it off. I didn't want to bore you guys with the details of removing skin off a salmon. Seems like after every flip, we're just going to keep our fish moist. Normally, I would use drizzles of olive oil, but I ran out. And we're just going to let that cook down. Now, you want to keep this rice moving. As you can see, some of the liquid is evaporating. It's going to cook quickly. And with the rice, you can cook it to your desired consistency. I like mine creamy, and you'll see at the end that I take mine out first, and then I let the rest of it cook down to dry it out a little bit more, but I like mine's extremely creamy. Here's what I was saying, you remove the skin. If you want the skin on, you can just already have both sides seasoned. I just don't like it, so I take it off. After I get the skin completely removed, I'll season the other side. Now, in this same pan, I don't rinse it out because I like all of my flavors to marry. We're going to start our shrimp. So a little bit more canola oil, maybe about a tablespoon or so. Just enough to saute them. More garlic. Garlic is completely optional. I like it, so I use a lot of garlic. You want to saute that down a little bit. Careful not to burn it. It cooks quickly. Keep your flame pretty low for this. And then add your shrimp. Shrimp cooks fast. You do not want to overcook it. Once it's pretty pink and translucent almost, it's done. Do not cook your shrimp for too long or it will be chewy and it's gross and nobody wants gross shrimp. We're going to cover that and let the steam do its job. And just making sure we keep an eye on our vegetables back there. Just had to taste it to see if my seasoning levels were okay, which they weren't, so I added some more seasoning. It's just the chicken bouillon cube or Maggie cube, whatever you like to call it. I love those things. Give it a quick stir. Our shrimp are about done. Just a quick stir, and that'll be it. Remove it from the heat, and I just put it in an aluminum pan with the salmon. Now we're gonna start our jerk gravy. This is something I came up with because I absolutely love jerk, so I was just messing around and I came up with this. So just, you can use as much liquid as you want, but I think that's maybe about a cup of chicken broth. And those are the rest of the onions that we chopped up earlier. I love onions in my gravy. So we're going to season this again with the jerk seasoning only. It's just going to give it a kick. You don't want anything too spicy because I also have to feed my 1-year-old, so I don't make it too spicy, but he can tolerate spice because I cook with it. That's just some garlic pepper. Found that, I think, in Walmart. I'm the type of person that if I go in a store and I see new seasonings, I buy them. Add a bit of thyme and some allspice. Again, allspice is completely optional. Allspice is strong, so you never want to use like a whole lot of it. You want to keep our rice going. Like I said, it will cook fast. Throughout the cooking process for this rice, you want to keep a lid on it, but you also want to continuously stir because it will burn. The coconut milk, for some reason, seems to make it burn faster. I don't know the science behind it, but it does. And I tried it one time without stirring like you would regular rice. It was epic failure, so I have to continuously stir that. If it was regular rice, I wouldn't be doing it. Now for our gravy, we've let that simmer a little bit, let all of the flavors do their thing. Now I'm taking about a tablespoon of cornstarch. You can use flour. If you use flour, use about 2 tablespoons of flour. The conversion is for cornstarch is 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of flour. But I always use cornstarch now because I like it and it doesn't give it that chalky flavor. So all we did was take some of that warmed broth and we're mixing it inside of the cornstarch, and we want that to be really smooth. This is a very fast process. Stir, stir, stir. You do not want it to burn. It will thicken. It does not take long. And you do want it to simmer because you want the flavors to all be well. Turn your flame down, but you want to continuously stir. It does not take long to thicken. This is why I'd rather the cornstarch, because with flour you have to burn that flour first. Well, when I say burn, I mean like brown it. Almost if you were making a roux, but it doesn't have to be that complicated. I'll do roux in another video. Just keep that rice going. For me, the rice is almost where I would want it. When I cook for other people, I cook this rice down a lot longer because most people like drier rice, which is fine. But you would just cook it longer until it's to where you would want it. So I have to plate mine first. And then I'll let it cook for maybe about another 10 minutes. And then after I'm finished cooking it, I'll leave the lid on and turn the flame off, and I'll leave it for about another 5 or 6 minutes just to let it stand a bit. And guys, that was a very easy recipe. Here you have it. Thank you.